Hi, I'm Jess.
And I'm Paige.
And we're the broadcast
Babe.
Welcome back, babes, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It was a exciting trip for some of our friend group. Jess went up to Maine, I stayed at home, but it was a great New Year overall.
It was, and welcome to 2023.
Crazy.
It is crazy. I feel like life stopped. I'm going to say this again. 2016. Things just changed.
Gosh. Okay, I don't know if you feel like this, but during the New Year, okay, there's a lot of good things about it, but I kind of feel like sometimes, like, not dread, but like just like I saw this on TikTok, just like the acknowledging of time moving forward. Like the New Year's kind of like a scary, like, I don't know. It's
it
like
also occurs like if you're in school, like in that time period between Christmas break and then going back and like all that you're looking forward to with break and everything, and then you're just back to reality.
That's so true. Good thing with college, we get the whole month off.
I'm done. By the way, everyone, I graduated.
Oh,
yeah. Forgot to tell everyone
That's
that last
big
time.
news.
But yes, I graduated college.
Let's go, Jess.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the new year, actually, and talking about everything that comes with it. And as everyone says, is new year, new me. But for me, it's the new year, same me. That's how I feel about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I wish I could feel that way, but I honestly, the last 2 months of 2022, I feel like I got so busy that I forgot to do all the things that we always talk about with motivation and balance. So I was like, when it hits January 1st, that's my time to really reset.
Yeah. And for me, my problem with New Year's resolutions is that I don't think you need January 1st to reset. But what you said about like Christmas time, that's huge because you eat different foods. You know, my mom's out there baking like crazy. I'm eating Christmas cookies and I'm shuffling to buy gifts, so I'm way more stressed. So it is like a good opportunity to start that new page. But but in general, I just think every day you should be working towards bettering yourself. You don't need any specific time frame to do that. But with that being said, too, I think for people that work better with time frames and knowing that you need a concrete day to make that change, I totally respect that, too.
Right, and we'll talk about this further on in the episode, but resolutions, too, how you form them are just so important. Because throughout my 20 years of life, I feel like I've gone through so many ways of coming up with resolutions, and I found it best, and we'll go over this, but just really separating it with shorter time frames. It's hard to make resolutions for the entire year of 2023 when you don't know where you're going to be in a year from now. Like, for example, because every year me and my family, we look back at the resolutions we made the year before, and we just kind of like go over them, see if we did them. And a lot of my things had to do with stuff that I was doing earlier in the year, but I'm in a completely different space in my life now. So even though I didn't get those resolutions done per se, I didn't fail the year. So like it's hard to make resolutions for all of a year when you have no idea what's going to be happening.
And that's a huge problem with resolutions in general. Why a lot of New Year's resolutions fail is because they're too broad. And I say this with goals in general and like manifesting. You need to be so specific about what you want and then coming up with a plan to achieve it. So too broad of goals, that then they become aspirations rather than actual goals, and also coming up with a plan to achieve that. Because if you just say you want to do something and then have no way to achieve it, it's like, how are you going to make it happen? And then you lose that zest for whatever you're going after, and it falls flat.
Just because you're way more into this than I am, what is the big difference between aspirations and goals? Is aspirations more just like dreams?
Yeah, they're dreams, so they're not really concrete, and they're bigger, they're broader than a goal. Like if you can have a specific goal, and when you say the plural version, the goals, you have multiple goals of what you want to achieve. And that also goes into, I don't know, do you know about scripting?
No.
So it's a form of journaling and manifestation through basically scripting your life. So for the next year, you write out in full detail as if, a technique I found really helpful is as if you've already lived it. So you write that like you are going to that job that you want, and you be very specific about everything, and it helps it come true.
It's almost like a future diary entry. Were you talking about that in the group chat?
Yeah, I wanted everyone to get together and script and create our vision boards.
No, it's not too late.
No, it's not. It's never too late because you can script. Like I said, it's not. You don't have to wait for the new year. You can do it at any time.
No, I've never heard of that, but that like actually makes sense. And that I feel like we always tie back to our past episodes. That's all to do with like living in your future self, like already acknowledging that you're going to be where you want to be one day and just
making it happen. Yeah.
I love that.
And that goes like with the vision boards. I already made my vision board. Did you make one yet?
No.
Yeah, so how I make my vision board, basically I go on Pinterest and I find pictures that represent how I want my life to be this year and in general. And for example, like I'll take a girl grocery shopping, but like in the veggie section, if I want to eat more vegetables or eat more healthy, stuff like that. And even like Pilates studios. I even have snowboarding on here because I want to get to the mountain as often as possible. I have an engagement ring on there.
Ooh.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that, you know? So it's a
that.
vision for what you want to come to you in the next year.
I think you have to make it fun because like whenever like I was going to make a vision board, but then I just like thought of it as like an extra thing to do. But I feel like it can be a fun activity if you like make it crafty. And
for me it's like therapeutic, and it gets me excited for what's to come. And that's what's exciting about the new year is like it is new, you know? So back to I wanted to touch more upon the lack of planning, because that also falls within the vision boards and within the scripting. But how we talked previously about how your manifestations, they can't come true without actually working to achieve it. So it's important too to write down like the steps and the practices that you're going to instill in yourself and over the next year or whatever your time period is to make whatever you're looking for happen.
Yeah, that's super important. And actually, it's funny you say that because my mom, she like prints up little worksheets for us to do each New Year's. And this year there was like a goal section and then action steps. So we'd have to fill out what our goal was and then how we were going to get there and then like a time we wanted to get there by. So it was like very specific. So for example, I split mine up into 5, into money, self-improvement, career, relationships, religion. And for each of those things, I made goals of what I wanted and then how I wanted to get there. So like for money, for example, I owe my parents money because I bought a car. So I wanted to get rid of that debt by the end of the year. How am I going to do that? I'm going to find
like a payment
plan and then find another mode of income because I waitress and that's clearly not enough. And then the due date, I just put 2024. So it's very important to be very specific about what you want first. Like it's a lot of like diving deep into yourself to figure out what exactly you actually want and then how you're going to get there. Because like you say, manifestation can only do so much if you're not doing those action steps to get to that place.
And I liked how specific that was. Like each category had their own goals within them. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Even like, so like, for example, like a bad resolution is just to make more money. You need to know exactly how much money you want to make. And you need to know exactly how you're going to achieve that. And I always say like, shoot for the stars. Like, I don't think you have to lowball yourself. I think you should actually go more unrealistic because I do believe anything is possible, but just be specific. I think that's huge.
And yeah, like, and again, like I was saying before, just really digging deep into what you want. Cause there's a lot of these stereotypical resolutions, go to the gym, do all that stuff. Like, why do you want to go to the gym? You have to figure out, do you want to improve your health? Cause maybe you'll do a different type of workout. Maybe you'll eat differently. So really being creative and unique to yourself. There's no right. There are like poor resolutions, like you said, just very broad ones, but specific topics, there's no like wrong resolutions per se. So I think it's important to really figure out what you want, not what the average resolutions are. I was like looking on TikTok the other day and there were these videos on like what resolutions you should make. And I was like, that is so like not right. Like you should be able to make your own resolutions. Like someone can't tell you what you want in the future. So
yeah, and that it needs to be about you. And that's why I said New Year, same me, because you're not changing who you are. You're changing the things about you that you want to fix or get better with. And part of that comes from loving yourself and knowing that the things that you mess up on or that are character flaws right now, that's not who you are. Those are like maybe just bad habits. And that's the stuff you need to target and not yourself, because if you think about creating a new you lose your identity and you lower your self-worth. And that's where those insecurity troubles come from.
Yeah, that's so true. And going back to the point before, I feel like it's very important too, in order to make resolutions that are unique, is to reflect. Because let's say in 2022, something I like reflect on, like what I really liked in 2022 was that I was able to find my passion and I was able to travel. And those two things, I was like, that's something I want to amplify. So when making resolutions, it's really important to go back to your past year, even past 5 years, 10 years, figure out what went well, be really honest with what didn't go well, because that can be the hardest part, is being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Of what maybe you didn't like so much, why it happened, And then you can make resolutions going forward to either improve the things that you didn't like before and elevate things that you already liked.
I think an awesome way to do that, because it's hard to determine what you need to work on, because it's something that you have to drop your ego with a bit. And I think the best way to do that is looking at the outcomes that your behaviors have triggered. And say you're doing something and it causes you to lose friends, something like that. You can blame the situation and you can blame the other people, but you can also target if this is a repeated behavior and say, that's something I need to change because I've seen it happen multiple times now, and maybe it's a problem within myself.
Yeah, that's huge. And even if, like, using your example with the friends thing, let's say that you are losing friends and maybe you don't even know that it's something that you're doing, but if that's something that you really want to change, let's gain more friendships, let's make more social connections, even finding a way to improve that. If it's something that maybe you don't think is wrong, but it's obviously not helping your friendship. For example, with me, I'm a workaholic. I love to work. And when I work so much, I spend less time with my friends because I'm always working. And being a workaholic, I mean, there are its negatives, but it's not a bad thing to work hard. But if it's something that I want to prioritize, making friends, then that's something I'll need to change.
You have to create the space and the time for it. And that's something I even tell my boyfriend, because he's a workaholic. And I'm like, if you want to make time for the people in your life, you just have to do it. You can always say, there's always going to be more work to be done, especially as a workaholic. You're always going to be chasing that next thing and that next goal, whether it's a money goal or a business goal. Those goals are always going to be there and you're never going to be satisfied. That's just innately within a workaholic. That satisfaction just never comes because you just want more and more.
Right.
So you have to create that time and that space, especially for people that you care about, and cultivating yourself too, because surrounding yourself with people brings a value to your life that you can't get from yourself and you can't get from work.
Yeah, I think that's something actually, like, looking back at myself, like, throughout 2022 that I completely, like, forgot about. Like, I've always been someone that I'm an extrovert. Like, I love talking to people. My social battery doesn't really run out too often. Like, I love talking to people, but through work and through broadcasting, it's just been a lot with, like, school, internships. You just forget about how important social interaction really is. And then when you go back to it, you're like, oh, like, I miss this. That's exactly what happened with this friend group that I'm in now with you guys. It's just like, I did not have a close group of friends all of 2022 because I was just so focused, and honestly selfishly, like, I was focused on myself, which I think is important sometimes to do. But when I found, like, you guys and a new friendship group, I was like, oh, I was really missing this aspect of my life.
For me, it was COVID because a lot of my friends ended up coming home. I came home, so I had all my friends there from not this friend group, but like my childhood friends and my college friends, people I like just in my life. And then after COVID, everyone went back to their lives. I ended up staying here. I transferred here. And that's what was really hard for me, where I felt that lack of friends. And it was really hard for me because I am also like a super social person. And luckily I was introduced into this friend group as well. And it provided such a value, both just craving that friendship, but also even creatively. And I just think my friends that I have now, our friends, everyone adds a benefit to my life. They all really help me in different ways. Even learning from myself, even like when we fight, learning new things and how I can be better as well.
Right. And with, like, the friendships, and I feel like that's moving on, like, at the age we're at right now, I feel like friendships, and this is going to sound, I don't know if it's going to sound bad, but I think they should be beneficial. Like, and I think that's something that I'm trying to be better with the new year, is, like, providing value to the people around me, because we're at the age now where time is, like, crucial. Like, a lot of things are going on in our lives. We don't want to waste our time on people that, I don't want to say aren't benefiting us, but, like, it's true. Like,
well, the term energy vampires,
right?
Like, you have to. It's every relationship is a give and a take, right? Romantic or friendships, you have to provide benefit, or at least even if you have issues that are coming out in your friends, you have to acknowledge them and being willing to change them. Because if you're not, then you're gonna just bring the other people down. And there's only so much you can take until a person becomes toxic. And then at that point, you do have to, like, remove yourself.
Right. And that's another thing that's completely just looking really deep into yourself and being honest with yourself. Because no one's ever going to be like, yeah, I'm that toxic friend. Like, no one thinks they are. Like, I've, like, looking back at, not specifically at 2022, but, like, my high school years, like, I've been, like, I feel like a parasite sometimes. Like, always talking about my problems, not really listening. So it's like, in the future for 2023, something I really want to focus on is, again, just to be better, not be that parasite friend, and really, like, benefit the people that are around me.
Yeah, I always like think about how much I've changed since high school because I honestly think I was kind of like a bad person in high school almost.
My
No,
God.
like honestly, I think in your teenage years, most people are really selfish. Like just that is you're learning about yourself and right everything in high school. You look back and the stuff that was
Makes you
so
cringe.
it was meaningless though, like so many things and you thought that was the whole world.
Right.
Everything meant so much to you. So every detail was just on a different scale. So I do think I was selfish and I was a mean girl in high school and I definitely was. And I look back and I wish I could mend like so many relationships, but in life, you just have to learn that's who I was. I'm moving on, bettering myself, and I can't always fix everything, but it's important to realize too how far you've come to show that change is possible.
Right. Did you make any resolutions for the new year?
That's the thing is I really don't believe in New Year's resolutions.
Oh, not at all.
No, I believe in daily resolutions and taking day by day, being a better person. And of course, I have my goals every day that I'm working towards. For me, like, what am I? Okay, for example, I come into the new year and I'm going to say I'm going to work out more. That's something I've already been, working on and trying to achieve every day and getting physical activity on. So like when something new comes up that I want, I don't wait to achieve it. I want to go for that, especially because I'm an overly eager person. I can't wait. Like I have to start moving or else I'll lose that excitement and then I won't have the motivation to go after it.
Right. No, that makes sense to me. I'm a kind of person where I go, and I'm sure you do too, but I go very up and down with my motivation. And you hear a lot, that's where like discipline comes in. But it's hard, honestly, to keep that motivation. So I really, like, I never do this, but I really use this new year to be like, all right, Paige, it's January 1st. Because, I mean, like, both of us are very motivated people in general compared to, like, the average of our age right now. But, yeah, for me personally, I'm probably for other people out there too, it's almost as an excuse, like, to wait until the 1st to really start things. But I used that excuse. I was like, I'm going to eat these cookies on Christmas. I'm going to not work out for a little bit. I'm going to, like, January 1st, that's my time. And I've been doing good. But definitely just owning each day. And I actually heard this because I went to a basketball press conference the other day. And the guy, one of the players, was like, I just want to go 1-0 each day, each game. So a win each day. And I feel like that's something that you can even take into life. Just win every single day, do the best that you can do, and then the next day, be even better. And that's kind of Trump's resolutions.
And even what you said about the cookies stuck with me because that's like the balance. And my problem with resolutions is that you have to counter in that you're going to have these mini failures. And they're not always mini failures. Sometimes it's just balancing your life. And it's okay to eat the damn cookies. You want to enjoy life too. It's not all a strict rule book. But even with working out, rest days are necessary. It's just you have to be willing to leave that motivational period that you're in and be able to come back into it. And that's the hard part, especially with resolutions, is you start it and then they fizzle out a lot of the time.
Right. That is very true.
It's got to be a daily practice.
Yeah, and I'm about to go off topic for 1 second because it just reminded me. One thing I've been focusing on recently, and it's not really a resolution, but it's something that you inspired me to do. The sauna.
I love the sauna.
Is life-changing.
I know.
I went in the other day for 15 minutes. I've been going 4 to 5 days a week in the sauna. Literally a whole new woman.
It's
I'm
amazing.
a whole new woman.
I haven't been in like a week now, maybe even a week and a half because we went to Maine and then I went to Vermont. And then I didn't go to the gym yesterday and I went to Pilates today. So I haven't been.
You inspired me.
But it is the best thing. It really is.
Great. Pilates I need to try too. And then
I love Pilates, especially because for me, I want to be leaner and that's what it's really good for. And fun fact, Pilates makes you taller. It does.
Is it just stretching?
It's basically from fixing your posture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I know.
So
Which I need the height. 5'2".
Yeah. Oh, you're cute.
I'm mini.
I know. No, but Pilates and sauna in the new year.
But that's like a great goal of being specific, 15 minutes in the sauna 5 times a week, whatever you want to do. Because sometimes even if you're tired and don't feel like working out, just going to that sauna is good for your body too.
It reduces all, this is a fun fact now, it reduces all causes of mortality by like 42% or something like that.
It decreases your chance of strokes, heart attacks. The benefits are like endless.
Insane. I don't know why everyone doesn't do it.
Well, I really want to try the infrared sauna.
I heard that.
I don't know where those are, but I want to go to one.
I have no idea where those are, but I did see that on TikTok, and I was like, that's the next thing.
And that's something I found with Pilates and even physical activity, sauna in general, is it brings this sense of wellness to myself. And I think it does help to love yourself. You want to be happy in your body as well. And that can be a different standard for everyone. But if you're not, it's just another level of self-hatred that you have to fight, you know?
Mm-hmm. And with working out, especially, I think that's a huge problem, is that we become so critical of ourselves. Once we start working out, maybe not seeing the progress that we want, and then it becomes like, oh, I need to work out harder. But maybe it's even like the rest days that you take, going in the sauna. I mean, that helps you slim down, just that.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
all that.
right? And it just makes you, it's like a spa day. Like, working out doesn't need to be like all hard and grit and let's lift the heaviest that we can. It can be a very enjoyable time. And that's something I also want to do in 23, because I was always an athlete, as you did cheer too. So is it just cheer, or did you do other sports too?
No, I did 2 seasons of cheer, football cheer and competitive cheer.
Right. So, you know, like with sports, like you're training to be the best at your sport. So it's very hardcore, and it's honestly most of the time not enjoyable. So now I'm trying to take the gym and figure out what I like, because it's different for everyone, but you can make it a really enjoyable time. Like, after my workout, throughout the whole thing, I'm like, after this, I get to go in the sauna for 15 minutes and it's going to be enjoyable. I listen to my little motivational speeches in my ear, and it's a very enjoyable time. So really creating hobbies and things to better yourself that you like will, I think, make you love yourself even more.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is physical activity doesn't have to be just a gym or a workout class. I mean, it can be walking outside. It's going to bring you closer to nature as well, which is awesome. Have you ever heard about grounding?
That's not meditation, is it?
No, it's how you're supposed to spend, I think, like a certain amount of time a day barefoot on the ground. And
That's true?
And it's supposed to ground you with the earth. I mean, I'm so like natural holistic, so I completely believe all of that stuff. But I think, getting connected with nature. Same with sunbathing, like even just waking up and seeing the sunlight and getting it in your face. That first 15 minutes you wake up is super important. Right. Sleeping with your blinds open, even stepping outside and getting that sunlight.
I mean, I believe that, because when it's like raining outside for a few days, or like I don't get sunlight, I'm like miserable.
Well, that's what I was saying about my seasonal depression. It was so bad, and the only thing that saved it really was snowboarding. Otherwise, without snowboarding, I could not live in New England. There's just no shot. I get so deeply depressed in the winter. But I think part of the snowboarding, it wasn't just an activity I loved, but it was being outside and being in that sunlight.
Right. No, and that makes so much sense, because other than, I just picked up snowboarding like last year, but before that, there's just, in New England, I'm not talking about Rhode Island, in New England as a whole, there's so few things to do in the winter, and it's hard to stay productive. Like, when it's snowing outside, you don't want to drive your car, then it's like rainy and gross, you don't want to go outside, and so then you just end up staying in your house all day. I saw on your TikTok the other day, you had like a little rainy productive day, which those are so important, but how many of those can you do? Like, if it's like continuous. So it's so important to find those activities for us at snowboarding, but that keeps you busy in a time that can be very depressing. It's dark, it's cold.
That's the thing. When it's dark and rainy and cold out, I won't even like go out to dinner. I'm like, I do not want to leave my house. I'll order takeout. Like, I don't even have the energy to sit in a restaurant. That's how not depressed isn't the word, but it's like,
like literally just like a feeling of just like droopy. Like it's just
terrible.
Like, yeah.
And I felt that way for like up until like 2 years ago, because I hadn't discovered how I grew up only skiing and snowboarding out west, so I had no idea how accessible the mountains are to us. So I was like in such a deep fog for like my entire life up until 2 years ago in the winters.
Right, and then you got that little taste of Miami, being there for a little bit, getting used to that.
That's when I came back to the cold, like COVID. I was miserable. That was like the worst winter of my life, especially like when at the point where my friends left and I came back from a warm climate. It was terrible. I hated every part of it.
Yeah, I could imagine. I'm like ready. I'm so ready, because traveling is one of my resolutions this year. I know you don't like resolutions, but I want to travel like so much this year. I have family in Florida, and I told my mom, I was like, before I go back to school, I'm just going to Florida for like 3 days.
You should. You should book your trips just around cheap flights. Like, find a place you haven't been that's a cheap flight and go there. Who cares what the season or whatever it is? Just make it happen, because I love traveling, and I miss traveling a lot, because I studied abroad, and I was able to travel like every weekend across Europe, and I wish I could do that more in my daily life.
Right. I think living in New England, I found that like traveling is a lot more meaningful, like because we live, like especially in the winter, we live in such like a cold, dark place, which sounds so depressing. I love New England.
Yeah.
But when you're able to travel outside of here during the winter, it makes it so much more special. Like if I were to go to Florida right now, it'd be so tropical. It'd be such a great time. But if I'm always having that environment, maybe it wouldn't be special anymore.
Well, even like these weekend trips, like what we did with Maine, and even I've been to York, Maine, and places in Massachusetts and Salem, those coastal towns, even when they're cold, it's that quaintness of the town you can appreciate too that's different than your own. And I just think there's a lot of places, even in New England and across the U.S., that are even accessible by car, and you could find a cheap Airbnb and make traveling accessible.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm actually going to New York next week to snowboard just because I need, like you said, a change of environment. Just being here for so long, it's just like, you need something new.
And your uncle lives in New York, right?
Yeah,
You're going with him?
Yeah, he's so excited. Because I got my sister actually, by the way, she told me, she asked you about the snowboarding. So I asked Jess, because my sister bought me snowboarding gear. And because then my sister like kind of said it. And I was like, I asked Jess, I was like, did my sister talk to you?
I was like, no. Like, what are you doing? Why would I talk to your sister?
Right, but we got me and Jess have like matching snowboarding gear now.
I got it in green, but I had to swap out my jacket because it was too big. So I'm still waiting for it to come in.
You're getting green again?
I just exchanged it. I got an extra small.
Yeah, me, Jess, and our friend Olivia.
Yeah, we all got pink.
Matching. That's going to be so cute.
It is we got to get a picture.
Yeah, I know. We have to get a snowboarding trip soon, for sure.
Anyways, I wanted to also, one more tip for you guys today. Have you heard about the 12-week year?
No.
It's planning your whole year in 3 months.
The 12-week year. Okay.
So you give yourself a 3-month time period to achieve your goals, and apparently you get a lot more done. And I think I want to try out this method like in this upcoming year.
So it's just you're breaking the year into 4 parts. So like it's each quarter.
But you give yourself that shorter timeline so you don't have time to put things off and say, oh, well, I have a whole year to do that type thing.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
I think I saw that on TikTok.
I saw it there too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I really want to try it. I got like the planner for it and everything. We'll see how it works.
A planner?
Yeah. And it's a free download.
Okay, I'll get that too. No, I feel like that would be much more effective.
We can link that for you guys too.
Look in the description. But no, I think that would be so, because kind of like we were talking about before, like it's hard to set your life up like for the whole entire year. In 3 months, a lot can change, but most likely you'll know the change that you'll have in 3 months. So I feel like that would be super effective, just like you said, to get things done and to keep yourself accountable, because like you said, those 3 months, and as we get older, the time is just flying by.
The earth is spinning at a faster rate. Did you see that?
Is that a joke or is that serious?
No, I'm being dead serious.
So is that, I'm confused by that.
No, I'm being dead serious. Hold on, keep talking. I'll pull it up.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I just feel like it is so much easier to break it down into those small periods just to keep yourself honestly just productive, and you don't really have that opportunity to be like, oh, well, I can wait until 2024. So
according to CBS News, the earth is spinning faster, and its recently recorded shortest day was June 29th, 2022, 1.59 milliseconds less. How scary is that? I hate that.
I just hate talking about all universe things.
Well, knowing that time is flying by, and everyone says time flies fast when you're having fun, blah blah blah, but like no, literally time is flying by.
Yeah,
like,
no, it is
scientifically. Like that's horrifying to me.
It's not clicking in my brain, but
I don't know how it works either. But I'm not a scientist, so
yeah, that is crazy. But yeah, time flies. Even if it's that 1 second, but just like as we get older, I feel like it's gonna be like this whole like all of 2022 was like that. I like that's what I'm saying. Like when the ball dropped, like that feeling, it was like a pit in my stomach. Like, oh my god, a whole year went by. Like that's insane.
I feel like yesterday was August. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's my birth month.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're gonna just wrap up with an affirmation, each of us, that maybe you guys can use in your daily life going forward.
I got mine this time.
You can go first then, girl.
All right, mine kind of is actually it's not a New Year theme. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna look into the camera. I am proud of what I have accomplished, and I make feeling good my highest priority.
Ooh, snap. And mine is, I am worthy of everything that I desire.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yes.
All right.
Well, Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope you guys have a happy and healthy New Year.
Yeah, happy 2023. Big things for this year, for sure.
Don't let time fly by too fast. Hey, thanks for listening.
Tune in every single Monday on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Don't forget to leave us a review and follow us on our social media. Our Instagram is @BroadcastBabesPod.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time. I'm Jess.
I'm Paige.
And we're the Broadcast
Babes.